Now, when a DJ creates a live stream and starts broadcasting music to the internet, he has become a radio station. These are the words of a Kikobo organization. Now, with most people unable to go out due to the curfew imposed by the government, the majority have turned to social media for entertainment. DJs have sprung up to keep those, who are staying at home dancing and entertained. And I bet at some point you've checked out a live. If you haven't, well, okay. But then for a lot of us, we've checked them out. So they have all theyese mixes, and they're hosting them on their platforms. This is like on Facebook and on YouTube or Instagram. However, now Kikobo on Wednesday said that anyone who violates the exclusive rights of the copyright owner is an infringer of that copyright. Now, Cindy, I don't know if you saw this story. The amount keeps changing of how much it is that they will be remitting every year. And I mean, as you can imagine, this was met with a lot of anger and shock. What are your thoughts?
It really was, and I asked a DJ friend of mine, allow me to read what he said. He says, I wish artists, DJ, and government could actually work together instead of it feeling that one is against the other. Explain to us how, when a DJ is in a fix right now during COVID, they can barely bail themselves out. Very few actually enjoy the success that the Copyright Board is imposing on them. It should be a joint discussion and shouldn't feel like it's on one side. And I totally agree. Some of these things, I understand the internet is a blanket area. FYI, KRA is now also looking at online businesses to find a way of making revenue, because it is uncharted territory. It's something that they did not anticipate. And maybe the Copyright Board are sitting and thinking, could this be something like a radio station? The best way is sit down with the stakeholders and find a way forward. I find it very insensitive in this day and age of COVID, when guys can't even afford, a meal, and guys are struggling, pubs are closed, DJ have no gigs. And what they're trying to do is actually to show that they have a skill set, and to get that 100 million that the government promised them. So they are practicing their skill and they're showcasing it. But here's another government entity that's fighting them. Sit down with them, find a way forward. Let's pass through this season, be a bit more understanding. But 10K a year, you might think, that's kidogo money. But right now, DJs are starving, entertainers are starving. It's not the time to impose a law that is on an assumption.
But on the other side, though, Amina, today we were having the conversation about the creative space and the issue about intellectual property being a slippery slope, in such a way that the creative space, you no longer know, because once someone goes commercial with your product, you as a creator, because the artists the artists that this Kekobo represents, they also need something from the product of their work. So it's really something that they should sit down and have a conversation, because the DJs are saying, we are promoting your work as an artist. The artist is saying, this work cost me some money to make.
A certain amount of money, right?
Yes, just like you are homeless, jobless, just like you're not doing any gigs, I'm also not doing any gigs as well. So if we are going to share the spoils, because those lives have been commercialized. People are writing down their M-Pesa numbers, Cash App, whatever, and money is being sent. So if you're making some money from it, at least also me as an artist, let me make something. And also, this goes beyond just music. There was a thing we were talking about. People are now doing covers for even funny clips, where there is someone has done a funny clip, and then I want to do it for my TikTok. So I take the same clip, do it, and don't give credit to the initial owner of the clip.
Or creator.
Yes, the initial creator. So the more it gets shared, the more the identity of who made it gets lost.
Actually, that's so true, because sometimes when people do those TikTok videos, it's funnier than how the original creator, sort of like put it out. That is so interesting you say that. All right, well, you could tell us what you think. The hashtag, of course, is TTTT at the Trend Live. Now, this next story is one of the biggest stories in the world. An FBI investigation is underway, and 4 officers have been fired following a fatal encounter Monday between Minneapolis police and an unarmed 46-year-old black man named George Floyd. As you can see, so that's the police. All right, I'm not sure why we even needed to play that then. But anyway, we couldn't play the part where the cop was, you know, putting his knee on, his leg actually on George Floyd's neck. And, you know, just the clip is very graphic. Unfortunately, we couldn't really play the clip itself. If you can go online and you can check it out. It has caused an uproar with, you know, African Americans across the state just going to the streets, demonstrating. Kwach, I don't know if you saw, they also burnt down the Minneapolis precinct.
Yes.
You saw that?
Yes.
And then there was a guy who had, so he lit up fireworks. So you see the fire burning down the police station, and then on the other side, you're seeing fireworks of them celebrating.
Yes.
And if you remember back in the day, you know, Rodney King, you know, causing this sort of the same uproar, because people are very angry. And they're very tense because there's so many clips and so many videos that, you know, have been shared over the past few weeks. And right now with the whole COVID situation, they're very angry.
I don't understand what is this dehumanization of the black people that is happening in America. Because this is not even, this is not those things where you've been discriminated in the streets, where someone has said something that is hurtful, or someone has bullied you online because of your skin color. This is taking someone's life. And they didn't care, the impunity. They didn't care that someone was recording. They didn't even care that the whole world was going to see what they were doing exactly. And this is not even something that happening is only in the US. Even here in Kenya. Just yesterday, there's a friend on Facebook, I'm not sure what I can't remember her name, but she shared a story of how her baba was just didn't beat the curfew, so he was caught off after the curfew hours. And he was beaten so bad that his whole face was bleeding, he was all over the place. And this is what people are being told. There is no reason ever that you should ever justify police brutality. Never ever say that someone gave them a reason for them to do what they did. Because today it is that someone, tomorrow it will be you. They will find you out there, they will deal with you mercilessly. We should all stand up to police brutality. We should all stand up to discrimination, Yes.
You said in no situation, well, there are times when they feel like their lives are in danger and the person is armed. But you see, in the case of someone like George Floyd, he was unarmed. He didn't pose any danger. He didn't pose any threat. You know, he was cooperating. He was already in the car at some point. They're pulling him out. Like, he was doing what it is that they're saying. So why was there a need for you to use such excessive, unnecessary force?
You know the difference between policemen and between policemen and hooligans or criminals is that they've been trained. They've been trained. They have a way they should handle every single situation according to the law. The difference between thugs and cops is the law. One uses the law, one uses the law of the jungle. So if you arrest someone, they are not resisting arrest, they are not doing anything to suggest that they are putting your life in danger. Why are you doing that? Like, this person was just kneeling on the guy's neck. It's so graphic. It's so graphic.
You're absolutely right. We do face the same, you know, thing here. And you remember when the curfew was first imposed in Mombasa, you saw the clips of, you know, the men and women who are also beaten. And you're wondering, I just got late. I didn't steal anything. I haven't killed anyone. Like, I don't understand what have I done for you to use such force on me. Cindy, what are your thoughts about this story, George Floyd, and of course also the police brutality that Kenyans are currently struggling with here in the country?
George Floyd was unarmed. Eric Garner, who, you know, said the famous last words before he passed on, I can't breathe, was unarmed. Trayvon Martin was unarmed. The thing that they had in common was that they are black. These days in America, you're at a higher risk of being shot being a black male than, you know, being hit by a car as you cross the road. I have a couple of relatives in the US, and it's sad that they have to train their black children, because my sister has sons, my brother has a son, and they have to train their kids that when you're confronted by a police officer, that you do not resist, that you put your hands on the steering wheel, that you cooperate, because they are at risk just because of their skin color. I don't know if you heard about the other case of this white jogger who called the cops on a black jogger in New York Central Park. And she was going to, you know, unleash her dogs on him.
Yes. Because the guy told her to put the dogs on a leash.
Graduate.
Yeah. Actually, what was so shocking is, if I could just explain,
he was like, he was not a bum. And it seems like there's a lot of white prejudice going on in the US.
Yeah.
There's a word for it. I've lost the, what is it? I mean, a white what? White privilege.
Privilege, yes.
There's a lot of white privilege going on in the US. This is something that has happened in time immemorial. A lot of guys are saying it's increased due to Donald Trump's, you know, being in government. However, I remember Eric Garner died during Obama's tenure. So it's just history repeating itself and bringing it back home. Yes, there's extrajudicial killing right now. There's a lot of extrajudicial killing happening in Kenya. But let's not forget, in a couple of years, we're going to go to elections. And that is now where we are at par with the US. Because right now we are brother and sister, we're all laughing. But in 2022, whenever there's an election, we remember that Cindy is a Jango. Yes. You know, my husband is Kikuyu, Amina is Borana. We now remember ourselves through tribes. So it cuts across the world.
Yes.
It just depends on what spectrum that you're looking at. And it's very easy for us. You know, I'm seeing a lot of hostility in social media and Kenyans saying, ban Minneapolis. But I'm still looking at them and I'm like, and in 2 years' time, won't you be there telling your neighbor and your friend, you know?
And you know they say,
Akuna Nusukate and that kind of rubbish.
You know they say, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Completely. It's so true. You know, you say that, and then I remembered, you know, they said that the Jeffrey Epstein story was one of the worst. You know, it reflected so badly on the American justice system. It was one of the worst handled cases. If you haven't watched, there's a documentary out on it. It's quite shocking. It really is. Please do send in your opinions on the story so far. Hashtag TTTT at the Trend Live. As I also tell you about how Oppo has launched another phone. They've launched the Oppo A9 II. They launched it yesterday, and you can pre-order it right now. So if you want to learn more about that device, make sure that you tune in on The Trend. That's the 10 p.m. show next week. And one of you could be winning one right here on the show. All right, so more on that coming up.